Hey there, it's John from Living the Music. Welcome to this Memory Lane video. We're looking at, again, one of my favorite bands from the 70s, Montrose. We already talked about their heralded debut, one of the greatest hard rock albums of all time. You got Ronnie Montrose back there on that picture. He's on guitar. He's the namesake of the band. You got Sammy Hagar on vocals. This album we're going to talk about today is his second and last album he would do with Ronnie. So we're talking about Paper Money. It's not as heralded nearly as the first one. It comes in for some various critiques, but I still like it. I listen to it a lot. In some ways, I prefer it to the original, and we'll talk about why as we go along here. So as you can see, to begin with, it's a rather nondescript album cover. I really can't say much about why they would have chosen this. Maybe just the starkness of it would stand out in a record store. I don't know. But there you go. The back side was just like this. Again, very basic. Now, this is a 2017 reissue, so it does have a gatefold. You get a great essay in there and a couple more pictures. This also has a live in-studio session that they did in late 1974 at the record plant in Sausalito, Marin County, California. And they did 8 tracks, and it sounds really good. Now, for this album, Ronnie decided to shake up the lineup a little bit. His really good friend and bass player, Bill Church, who brought a lot of energy to that first album and was really kind of dynamic player on stage. For whatever reason, he felt like he could do, Ronnie that is, felt like he could do better musically. So he let go of Bill Church and he brought in this guy, Alan Fitzgerald. Now, he's known as Fitz. He plays bass. He's a great player, but he also plays keyboard. So he brings some of that dynamic, and I think Ronnie wanted that multi-instrumental ability from his bass player. Now, he brings back Ted Templeman as producer, although Ronnie is listed as co-producer. I believe on the first album it was produced by Montrose and Ted Templeman. Here it's by Ted Templeman and Ronnie Montrose. So the rest of the band is no longer involved in the production. Ronnie is exerting more control. It shows up in the production credits, but it also shows up in the songwriting credits. As you'll see as we go through the tracks, you got 8 tracks here, and there's only a few Sammy and Ronnie co-writes, which were the norm on the first album. Not all tracks, but I think 5 or 6 on the first album. I think 5 were co-writes between the two of them. And they seem to have a great songwriting dynamic going. So to me, it's too bad that Ronnie, I suppose, started to squelch that for whatever reason. Apparently, he told Sammy and the rest of the band that he felt like hard rock was sort of going by the wayside, and they needed to expand their sound. They needed to be more eclectic. And anyway, that's what the Muse was calling him to do personally. So that's what they did. And that included bringing in outside songwriters for a couple of tracks, which we'll talk about. And you also got an instrumental on here. And you even have a track where Ronnie is doing the lead vocal. So, a lot going on in terms of band dynamics. And in fact, with all of this turmoil, inner band turmoil brewing, it wouldn't be surprising, I suppose, that within a couple of months of 1975, they had broken up. That is to say, Sammy left the group. Ronnie says he fired him. Sam says he was fired. Who knows what went on there. It kind of seems like Ronnie just wasn't feeling it with Sammy being such a prominent star in the making. And he was uncomfortable with that. and he was in process of making a new deal with Warner Brothers for upcoming albums, and maybe he got a better cut with having 3 guys in the band making that deal and then bringing in a singer. I don't even know if the singer was a full-blown, financial member. So there you go. Yeah, band politics. What are you going to do? But going through the tracks, it is a really interesting album. It doesn't have the same dynamics as the first album, just to say overall. That first album really punched you in the face with its very bright, powerful rockin' sound, reminiscent of Led Zeppelin, especially in the drum sound. But the guitars also were really, fantastic tone, and just overall one of the best sounds ever on a 70s album. And many bands have asked to, try to emulate that in their recordings, including Van Halen. Now with this album, it's just less in your face. It's more subdued. It's more like normal 70s rock, like Doobie Brothers type of a feel, if you will. But it's still good. You still got Ted Templeman there, and it's got an organic feel to it, and I do enjoy it overall. So starting with track number 1, you got this song called Underground. Now here's where right from the beginning they bring in outside songwriters. This comes from a group at the time on Warner Brothers, which this album was also released on, called, what are they? Chunky, Novi, and Ernie. Chunky, Novi, and Ernie. They were kind of a funky little trio, singer-songwriter kind of thing. Well, they wrote this song Underground. Ronnie liked it. And I believe it's on the Chunky, Novi, and Ernie album, but he decided to redo it and put it on his album. This is a really cool track, though. I really dig this track. It's one of my favorites. It's very catchy. Just really interesting dynamic to it, the way it flows. It has a really cool coda to it, sort of up-tempo kind of thing. I believe, you got Sammy singing it, but I believe Ronnie drafted in the drummer, Denny Carmassi, to do some vocals on this song also, which again was just kind of another little subtle, at least Sammy interpreted as another subtle dig toward him, or trying to undermine him in the band. But Denny sounds good. The whole song sounds good. I think Ronnie's on background vocals too. Sammy sounds great. Boppin' tune. I think this should have been the single, but it wasn't to be. And it certainly inaugurated a new sound for the band, much more poppy. Then we go to Connection, which is a Rolling Stones cover from I think 67, and it's a Jagger and Richards tune. It's from their album Between the Buttons, and Sammy does a really powerful vocal on this. Even though it is a cover, it's totally reimagined from a kind of a loose rocker by the Stones to this really cool slow builder of an acoustic track by Ronnie and the guys. Apparently Ted Templeman, as producer, was so blown away by Sammy's vocal, he was running out to say something or high five, and he crashed into the glass door and just kind of fell flat on his back. He was okay, apparently. But yeah, really great track. But again, you put these two tracks together, it's a stark difference. If you were a fan coming from the first album to this album, and you heard those first two tracks, this poppy cover, and then into another, more of a classic cover, but still acoustic in its bass, kind of slow moving. you'd be a little bit shocked at this point. Now, if you were more open-minded, you might be thinking, wow, these guys are really growing, and I'm enjoying this. So then with track number 3, The Dreamer, they give you a little taste of that first Montrose album kind of feel. This is a chugging rocker. I wouldn't say it's anything special. You know, I put a couple of songs on the first Montrose album in the sort of lower tier, like I Don't Want, something like that. Is that the name of it? Yeah, and One Thing on My Mind. Those are, I wouldn't say throwaways, but they're not at the heights of like Rock Candy and Bad Motor Scooter and Rock the Nation and Space Station Number 5 and Make It Last and Good Rockin' Tonight. So here with The Dreamer, this would be in the second tier of the first Montrose album. It's a cool tune, cool rocker. You got Sammy and Ronnie at least working together, which is nice to see, nice to hear. Then you go into track number 4, which is Starliner. This is an instrumental. So Sammy's completely out of the picture. Although he is a great guitar player, Ronnie wouldn't let him play in his band. So this is the trio of Denny Carmassi on drums, Alan Fitzgerald on bass and keyboards, and Ronnie on guitar. And they may bring in an extra guy. No, for this one, it's just the trio. This is a cool instrumental. Like, you know, it's nice because it's guitar, electric guitar based instrumental, but he's not like showing off necessarily with like, you know, wild rambling solos. It's a well written, put together track, very cohesive, nice. You know, it's a great album. The first side, A-side closer. Then we go into side 2, I Got the Fire. This is a fairly famous Montrose song. Now, this is, as I mentioned in the video on the first Montrose album, this is credited just to Ronnie, but Sammy has subsequently said that he did in fact write the lyrics to it, and Ronnie told him soon after the album came out that he quote-unquote forgot to give Sammy credits, and this for whatever reason was never rectified. So there you go, another dig for Sammy. But I Got the Fire is a fantastic tune. Now here Ronnie does give himself permission to really let go on the solo. The solo goes on for days. It doesn't have, you know, the sort of modern day shredding, but for that style of 1974, he really rips it up, and it's quite it's quite cool, and it's very energetic tune. I think anyone who loves that first Montrose album would love this song, and this would be in the upper tier of those great tunes from the first album. Then we go into track number 2 on side 2, Space Age Sacrifice. This is another really strong song. It's a little bit slower, but it's got really cool sci-fi lyrics, kind of reminiscent of Space Station Number 5 from the first album. It's kind of a bluesy feel to it, but I really like this song. When they do it live, it's even better, as you will hear. Yes, you will hear on the if you get this reissue album, you'll hear that on the live session. And many times I've seen Montrose over the years when they do this live. It's super powerful. They kind of extend it, and anyway, this is a great Sammy Ronnie co-write, and you know, excellent. I would put this again in the upper tier of their work together. Then we go to number 3 on side 2, which is We're Going Home. Now, this is a Ronnie soul write, solely written track, if you will, and this is the one he sings by himself. Some would say misguidingly. Apparently, Sammy pleaded with him to let him sing it. He pleaded with Ronnie to let him, that is Sammy, sing it, and Ronnie declined. Ronnie doesn't have nearly the voice of Sammy. He's not a lead singer, but it's pleasant, and I the lyrics are fairly pedestrian, so I wouldn't be surprised if Ronnie did write the lyrics. I'm only saying that just because I don't think he's shown in any way over his career that he's a lyric writer of any note. So anyway, I'm just saying I don't think he cheated Sammy out of any piece of the publishing on this one. But it's got a blistering guitar solo on it. This is the second of like the showcase guitar solos from Ronnie. Not bad. I enjoy it, although his voice is an acquired taste. Then you go with the closer, which is the title track, Paper Money. This is again a Sammy Ronnie co-write. Apparently they each talked about this song later in their careers, and although they liked it, they thought maybe it could have been developed a little bit more. But what it is cool. It's got an interesting lyrical subject, talking about sort of the transient nature of money, and what is money really, and what's it going to get you, and all of that. And it's got a really powerful sort of jungle drum beat by Denny that kind of goes throughout the track. That's very cool, very, very well done. So there you go. This comes in at just about 35 minutes. I think it accomplished what Ronnie wanted to accomplish, which was an eclectic album showcasing different styles of rock music, rock pop music, so to speak. But I'm sure it was a bitter disappointment for most fans of the first album. It did go to number 65 on the Billboard charts, which was quite a bit higher than the first album, which didn't break the top 100. And this was the highest charting album that Montrose ever had of their four. I guess in the 80s they came with another one. But in any case, yeah, this was still the highest charting album. I think what happened was that this album was selling on the momentum of the first album, and people, they had toured, and they were a really dynamic touring band, and so people were, excited for more, powerful rock from their Montrose. Save for a couple tunes, they didn't get it, but they did get a very interesting album, which may bear repeated listenings. At least it has done for me. So, as I say, it wasn't long before they broke up on tour. Band dynamics, personality differences, and there's two more albums in the 70s by the band with a new singer, which we may get to at some future point. But again, I must lament that that powerful duo of Ronnie Montrose on guitar and Sammy Hagar on vocals didn't last longer than 2 albums. Yes, they had huge egos, but that wouldn't be a first in rock and roll. Now, they also say, they didn't have very strong management at the time. If they had like a Bill Graham, if you've ever heard of him from the Bay Area, if they would have had somebody strong like that who was supporting them and could talk to them and, sort of cajole them to staying together, we might have gotten a couple more albums. But as it is, we got to appreciate the 2 that we did get. And so I know I always will. And although it's different, it's still a worthy, worthy sophomore effort by this classic band. So there you go. There's my take of this album and our stroll together down 70s memory lane. I would love it if you would give any comment on this. What do you think of this album? And please just take a second and like the video. That will really help us for YouTube to see that this is worth spreading out to more people. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second. It is free. And by the way, if you do comment, I respond to just about every comment I get. So I'd love to interact with you. And that will do it for now. So go listen to some Montrose. Enjoy your day. We'll see you next time. Take care.